At the end of the year, a lot of small businesses do like their own version of Spotify Wrapped where they show all of their highlights from the year. And while I do love seeing that, I love seeing how many orders were shipped and how many, like, I don't know, just all the things that small businesses do. But today, I wanted to share some of my fails from the year because this year was a little bit rough for me. If you've watched any of my monthly reset videos, you probably know that I have like a monthly goal to upload so many designs to Cricut. At the start of the year, my goal was to upload 200 designs a month. I'm not even kidding. I thought, I'm killing it. I can do 200 designs a month. I am amazing. I'm so good at designing. I can do this. I quickly realized that that was too big of a goal and I lowered it to 100 designs per month. And I still failed. Some months I uploaded 4 designs. Some months I uploaded 50. Some months I did upload over 70 or 80. But my average for the year was 55 designs a month. So I was so far off from that 200 designs a month goal. I was even far off from 100 designs a month. And I think what that teaches me is I have no idea what I'm doing when I make goals. I just think that I can do all these things and time is unlimited and I just make giant goals. So I will definitely be taking all of this into account for my goals for next year because obviously that was just way too far out of my reach. What I wasn't expecting going into this year was to have such a long period of just being uninspired and not really motivated to design. Like, I have gone through creative burnout before, but it was brought on by stress from a full-time job. That took a long time to undo all that, but then I think I had a little bit of motivation to like get back at them and design more because I had all this time. I don't know. And then this year, I don't know. It was so hard to explain what the lack of motivation was coming from. The only thing I can pinpoint is like this entire industry has been hit. I think that was kind of a hindrance to me. And so what I'm going to try and do for next year is try not to focus on all of the outside noise of my business is failing, my design sales are lower than they've ever been, blah, 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 blah. Like, I think I need to kind of ignore that and just keep doing me and focus on what I want to design. Hopefully next year will be a little bit better to me design-wise, and I will still have some motivation there. Despite the lack of sales I've had overall, Cricut is still outperforming everything by a landslide. So I need to really give it my all next year and stop just like throwing a pity party. And the next goal I had was to write 12 blog posts, and I wrote 2. I couldn't even write 1 blog a month. And the frustrating part about this is, 1, I just paid for another 3 years of my blog. 2, I was getting pretty good traction to my blog for the size of it, I feel like, and I just kind of ignored it this entire year. So it's probably, I haven't even looked at the stats. It's probably gone down in views. I was making a little bit of money from AdSense there, not a ton, but a little bit. Writing 1 blog post a month is really not that big of a deal. It's really not that hard. You just gotta start. And I just honestly forgot about my blog for the first half of the year until I had to repay it. I was like, oh yeah, I forgot I had this. And then once I remembered that, I was like, oh yeah, I have so much content I can do for it. Like, my goal, my overall huge goal with my blog and YouTube is to kind of connect them. So any videos I put on YouTube that would benefit from having a blog post, like a written version of it, I want to do that. And the frustrating thing about failing this goal is so many of my videos, I have scripted everything and they are like 80% ready to go for a blog, because the way I script my videos is basically the way you would also write a blog post. I need to work on that next year. 1 blog post a month is really not that hard, but time just got away. It's annoying because the thing is I used to get a lot of affiliate sales from my blog posts. So like anyone who would click a link, I would get affiliate sales on like Creative Market or Creative Fabrica or sites like that. So anyways, long story short, it was making some money and I just kind of neglected it for no reason other than I forgot. So next year I hope to be better about that. The nice thing about it too is that if I have a YouTube video and a blog post, I can share the blog post on Pinterest and it will have the blog content but also the YouTube video. It's so dumb of me to not work on it because it just works all together. It can help improve everything. Ugh, I'm so frustrated at myself for this one, but I'm trying not to be too mad at myself for failing things, but this one was a hard one. I had a goal to get more traffic and sales to my website. I think everyone has a goal like this. I wanted to increase my website traffic by 40% because I wanted to give a number to it, but then I had no motivation, no ambition, nothing to market or promote or push my website whatsoever. Like, I did absolutely nothing this year, and I paid for it. Like, I really failed this goal. Like, I didn't even attempt this goal, and that's annoying because, like, what am I doing with my life? I don't know. That one was a little bit embarrassing to admit, but yeah. My next goal was to be consistent on Instagram, and I honestly think this was just a goal I put out there because I felt like I had to. Like, I don't think I truly wanted this goal. I don't know. I am just not vibing with Instagram, and I'm sick of trying to force it. So what ended up happening is I posted 40 times on Instagram this year, and my last post was in August. I go back and forth on, should it be personal? Should I start designing some Instagram graphics again, like quotes and whatnot? Because I love lettering, but I feel a little bit imposter syndrome with that because the lettering on Instagram today is so much more detailed and complex than it used to be. So I feel like if I posted any lettering quotes, they're not going to be as good as other people's, and they're not going to get viewed. So like, what's the point of putting effort in for no reason? I don't know. I probably won't have any sort of Instagram goal going into next year because I just don't really care about it anymore. And maybe that's a bad business decision. Maybe I should be focusing more on it. It just gives me anxiety. It doesn't make me feel good. I honestly don't even have Instagram on my homepage anymore. I removed it from the homepage, so it's like at the very end. And I still go on it, but not nearly as much as I used to. The first week that I removed it from my home screen, I noticed a huge difference with my productivity. I was either reading or working in place of being on Instagram, and I just felt a lot happier. I don't know. There's a lot of good on Instagram, but there's a lot of bad stuff that comes with it too. So I just have a negative relationship with it right now. My last goal was to revive my Etsy shop, and I think I spent 2 weeks trying to work on this and then gave up. Feels like you're throwing money away because you have to pay to list new things. My Etsy shop at this point makes like $50 a month on its own without even thinking about it. I'm fine with that. At this point, it just feels like it was a waste of time and money to work on it because I wasn't seeing any improvement. And I know 2 weeks is such a short amount of time. I feel like it's harder to do well now, start over with a new shop or update an old shop and do well versus someone who's just been doing well for years. Like, I feel like if you've already had the traction, you're just gonna keep that momentum. And I don't think I've ever had huge traction. I'll put stuff on there every once in a while, like bookish printables maybe. I think I'm done with SVGs on Etsy, and I'll just be focusing on adding printables because every once in a while I do make some bookish printables and things like that, and they have sold a few times on Etsy, so I think I will just stick to that. This year has been so rough. I know I'm not alone. I know there are a lot of people who feel the same way. If you're a digital designer, I have a Facebook group, and you can go back and scroll. We have had lots of talks about this year and last year. A lot of us have had to get part-time or full-time jobs to replace the income that we've kind of lost, and I try to make it a uplifting place so it's not just always negative post after negative post. But I also think that the reality and the honest conversations are very helpful as well, to be like, oh yeah, okay, it's not just me. I don't want to leave this video on too much of a negative note, so I will share some of my wins from this year. My biggest goal was to get monetized on YouTube, and while I didn't reach that goal yet, I am so close to getting this goal. I am just so proud of myself for this. I had a goal to post weekly on YouTube. So every week I posted at least one video, sometimes two. It was 2 videos consistently for a while there, but then, you know, I went on vacation for a whole week. Other life things happen and you just get behind. And so there's 3 weeks that I didn't make, and I am totally okay with that. That is still such a win in my book. I learned so much about editing, how much I enjoy it. I feel like I've gotten so much more comfortable talking to the camera versus the beginning of the year. I feel like I've improved my editing skills so much. And yeah, I started off with I think 300 watch hours in January, and I am up to 3,200. So I've gained like basically 3,000 watch hours this year, which is probably not a lot for people who are already monetized or have way more followers than me. But for my channel, I feel like that's pretty good. And honestly, that just proved to me like, okay, yeah, if you stay consistent with something and you keep working on it, it will eventually pay off. I do see myself getting monetized very soon. Hopefully not too far into next year. Hopefully my videos in December and January will do do decently and I can get monetized fairly early in the year next year. But I'm very proud of myself for that. That's like my biggest accomplishment this year and the thing I'm most proud about. Editing videos and filming videos and everything that comes with YouTube takes a lot of time. I think the reason I failed on some other goals is because I put so much time and effort onto YouTube. A huge win for my mental health has been picking up coloring. I picked this up back in February when I was unknowingly like in a very low seasonal depression mood. I don't know. I didn't expect seasonal depression to hit me this hard this year, but for whatever reason it did. And I picked up coloring in February, I believe, and that was such a relief. I'm not going to say coloring cured me, but it definitely helped get me out of that rut. And then, you know, spring came shortly after that, and then life got a little bit happier. But yeah, I've kept with a new hobby, and that's so exciting because I'm not someone who really has hobbies or things that they like doing, and coloring has definitely been the one thing that I've stuck with this year. Apart from reading, I started reading last year pretty consistently, but this year I feel like I read at least 20 books more. I feel like I read a lot more this year, so that was nice. Between the two, those were like very helpful for my mental health. I mean, reading was stressful at times when I had like so many books available to me and I was trying to read so many at once, but for the most part, these two things kind of like really helped me throughout this year. And I know that's not a business win, but it's a mental health win, and I'm still going to include it. If you want to pick up coloring, I made a video on all of my favorite coloring books about a month or two ago, so I highly recommend watching that video if you are looking for coloring book recommendations. And I'm just going to do a shameless plug here. If you want to hear my reading book updates, I have a vlog channel that I am posting all of those types of updates on. I haven't really done too many yet, but that's my plan going into next year, is to make more vlogs and updates there. I hope this video reminded you that while there are so many businesses that are absolutely killing it, there are also some businesses who are struggling and we're just keeping quiet. And you know what? I think it's okay to accept that this year wasn't your year and next year might be better. It might not. It might be the same, but we can't always be at the top of our game every single year, unless you're like Taylor Swift or something, but I'm not her. I've had some incredible years as a business owner, and there are times when I feel like maybe I should go back to selling physical products because I was making so much more money. I was making at least 4 times the amount of money I am now when I was selling, but I was so miserable at that time. I just don't think I could ever go back to that because of how miserable I was towards the end of that. And now when I just think about it, I'm like, I don't want to do that. I love shipping and packing orders, but that's about it. I don't love a lot of the other stress that comes with it. That being said, I'm not trying to look back on what I've done. I'm trying to look forward and not be so hard on myself and accept that, you know, life happens, things happen, and you just got to keep moving forward. This year wasn't my year, but that's okay. I still had so many other amazing moments that happened outside of my business this year. Long story short, if you struggled this year, you're not alone. If you're open to sharing, I would love to hear any of your business fails or wins from this year. I will see you next time. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye.